Sport 24 editor Garen Lamley and chief writer Rob Howing are in studio with us this morning to discuss the latest sporting headlines. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you very much for coming in.
Morning,
Hello,
Nick.
Nick.
I want to start, Garen, with the big headline this morning or yesterday. Some sad news. Former Bafana captain Neil Tovey suffering a heart attack, and as far as we know, in critical condition. What's the latest you've heard there?
That is actually the latest, Nick. Late last night, we heard that Neil Tovey, as he said, suffered a heart attack. Sadly, not the first time this has happened to him. I believe last year he's had 3 heart attacks, in fact. You know, he's now the SAFA technical director. He was apparently at a training session and collapsed, according to his brother, rushed to hospital in ICU in a critical condition. They haven't released any more details as yet. But obviously very, very sad news. You know, he's only, I think, 52 years old. 54 years old. Yeah. So, you know, not old at all. You know, obviously a very stressful job, I guess, being involved with Bafana, SAFA. So, yeah, very, very sad. You know, he's still a super sport pundit. So, you know, hopefully holding thumbs, you know, he pulls through. But hopefully a more relaxed lifestyle ahead for him, perhaps, you know, is probably the best medicine, if you like.
Let's hold thumbs for him. On the local football front, Karen, Sundowns have been flying the flag for South African football, and they now have the return leg against Zamalek. So they won the home leg 3-0, which is even Peter Mosamani admitting that he was surprised by the scoreline. But I believe if they win this, they'll be the first side to win the African Champions League since Pirates did it in '95.
95, yeah. That's correct. You know, Sundowns, the reigning ABSA Premiership champions, played Zamalek of Egypt. You know, the Egyptian giants. They won it, I think, 5 times, this CAF Champions League. But they were no match for Sundowns in the first leg. If you say 3-0 victors, that's quite a handy lead to take into any second leg. I'm pretty sure Sundowns can now pull it off, even though I'm sure it'll be a hostile environment in Egypt for the return leg. But, you know, 3-goal lead, you can sort of defend if you like. 1 away goal, you know, then they'll have to score sort of 5 goals to beat you. And as you said, they only become the second South African team. In 21 years since Pirates won it last. Pirates did lose, I think, in 2013 in the final. But no small feat to be the second team to be sort of club champions of Africa. So good for them. Unfortunately, in the local PSL season, they've actually only played 1 game. So they're way, way behind all the other rivals. They've been playing all these Champions League matches. So they're going to be playing catch-up, which is exactly what Pirates had to do a couple of seasons ago. And they sort of didn't ever really catch up. They were so far behind, ended up losing matches. They come thick and fast now that you have to play catch-up. And, you know, they weren't really a factor. So hopefully for Sundowns fans, that's not the case for their team. But, you know, I think they'll be celebrating a victory in a couple of weeks' time.
Is Pitso Mosamani available, I guess, at national level? I mean, he seems to have done really well at Sundowns.
Yeah.
Would he put himself in the running for another stint at the helm of Bafana?
I think Sundowns fans probably hoping not, and I think they're quite happy with him. He's probably the best coach in South Africa at the moment. That he stays with the club. You know, Mashaba, you know, he's hanging in there for dear life at the helm of Bafana. You know, he started now these 2018 Soccer World Cup qualifiers. Depending how those go, I think that'll determine the fate of Shakes at the national helm. But so I'm sure if asked, he would make himself available again. You know, he's a well-known, respected coach. A lot of players look up to him. You know, he's fairly outspoken. I think it's really between him and sort of Gavin Hunt as the next coach of the national team. It's just a case of when SAFA actually do grow tired of Shakes. If we fail to qualify, and it's going to be very difficult to qualify, must be said, for the next Soccer World Cup with just the winners of the group going through. And we played 1 game, we've drawn that away. Fairly lucky, I think Burkina Faso missed 2 penalties in that match. So we could have lost that game, but we did pick up a point. I guess it was an away point as well, but I think Senegal are going to be the tough team to get past in our group. And as I said, it's just the group winners that go through to the next Soccer World Cup. So going to be a tough ask, but he has already missed out on the AFCON qualifying. Next January's tournament, so not looking good for Shakes. I think he's living a little bit on borrowed time, so I wouldn't be surprised if he is replaced at some stage. But whether it's Pitso, Gavin Hunt, perhaps somebody else, you know, remains to be seen. But never a dull moment in South African coaching local football circles.